This is the show dedicated to raising up the next generation of men of faith and character. My name is Mark Stanifer. Welcome to The Next Man Up.
Part of the NRT Podcast Network.
Gentlemen, welcome back to the Next Man Up podcast and to the community that is changing the world by raising up healthy and godly men. My name is Mark, and it's an honor to be with you once again today. Before we get into today's topic, just a quick shout out and thanks to each of you who have commented or given us feedback over the last few weeks on recent episodes, in particular the cancel culture episode with Alon. As I say often, we do really value your feedback. And so I just want to thank you for those or to those of you who have taken a few moments to pass us your feedback. Let us know you're listening and let us know that you've appreciated the content that we've captured through this podcast. We really do appreciate it. And so once again, another reminder, feedback@thenextmanup.com is our email address. You can also get us on Facebook at NMU Journey is where we live there. And again, we would love to hear from you. Questions, comments, suggestions, feedback. It's all fair game, so fire away. A number of months ago, I heard this phrase, comfort is an idol. I was hanging with some guys that I didn't know all that well, and in the course of conversation, one of them happened to mention this phrase, and it stuck with me ever since as I think about what that means, as I reflected on our conversation and where it went, and I think it captured well my own struggle. And I think it also captures well the struggles of others. And that's why it resonated with me. And I suspect maybe as we get into this idea, it will resonate with you. My comforts, when I think about them, are probably not your comforts necessarily, but when I think about comfort for me, what comes to mind is security and safety, financial well-being. I want to make sure I have plenty of me time, downtime. It might be called veg out or check out time. And coming at this from a different perspective as well, for a long time, longer than I really care to admit, I wanted to really avoid discomfort, the discomfort that comes with stretching or adversity or growth. And think of that in the broadest possible sense. I just wanted to avoid the discomfort. I didn't mind the results of the growth per se. I just was hoping it could come in a different way while I still enjoyed my comforts. Now, truth be told, there are some comforts that I do really, I guess, consider non-negotiable these days, like wicking underwear and wicking socks. You know what I'm talking about? Like, there are some things that I do really appreciate as comfort in this modern era, this modern day and age in which I and you live. But the reality is, much of my life up to recent times for me has been about minimizing discomfort and maximizing comfort. Now, I know I'm wired different than you. I'm wired with certain skills and abilities and intentions and desires, and yours are different. I know, and I've already acknowledged that your comforts will probably be different. For example, I have a friend who is really drawn to food and the pleasure of food and the constant availability of good food. And in his honesty, will admit to me that really that is a comfort for him. I have another friend who has confided in me just the battle and the temptation to give in to his feelings with respect to physical fitness and workouts, the feeling of, I just don't really want to work out today. I don't feel like it today. And that temptation to prioritize comfort over the benefits for him of that physical workout. I don't know what comfort is for you when you think about it in your own life and in your own situation. I don't know what comfort is for you, but chances are it's that thing that is getting more of your attention than it should, that is holding you back from growth, that is causing you to, even maybe causing you to work harder in one area so that you can have comfort in another area, whatever it is. Whatever that comfort is to you, the question that we're going to ask today is, has it become an idol? For you, it could be something physical, or it could be emotional. Maybe it's financial. I suspect a lot of us are faced with the temptation to pursue financial comfort and security. Perhaps it's recreational activities that you're pursuing intensely or in too strong a way for that comfort. Maybe it's a title. Maybe it's a boat. In fact, it really doesn't matter what that comfort item is for you. What matters is, has it become an idol? Now, for those of you listening who are God followers, you understand this term idol, the thing or the idea that we have placed in worship higher than the God that we believe in and are choosing to follow. The challenge for us is to examine where comfort has become a thing that we worship, where comfort in our status or in our relationships or our possessions has become more important than the God that we say we follow. If this is speaking to you and resonating with you, then of course the next step is to explore more deeply what it is that we have placed above our worship of God, and invite him into that space with you to reveal it to you, and through his strength and through his partnership, begin to change it. Now, for those listening where God is not a part of your life, think of it this way. Think of an idol here as something that is capping your growth, something that is keeping you from becoming and being the best version of you. Or maybe this way, something that is more about your consumption and about your pleasure than it is about helping or serving others. These idols that we are talking about are things that are more important than they should be. They're things that are keeping us from growing, whether it's physically or mentally or spiritually. It's something that is between us and God, and it really is prompting us to settle for less than we could be and less than the Creator intends for us to be. You know, when I think about comfort in this context, the idea of comparison comes to mind. And here's why. Comparison can be a tricky thing. On one hand, it helps us to see our potential. As we look at where others are and what they're accomplishing, what they're able to do, who they have become, it reminds us that we have more. We have more potential. We have more to go, and we have more to grow. But on the other hand, comparison can sometimes make us feel better about where we are in relation to where someone is. And this is where it gets to be a little tricky, because it's funny how we tend to compare ourselves to someone who makes us look better in those moments. When we're battling the temptation of comparison that is unhelpful, we often are biased toward comparing ourselves to someone who makes us look better or feel better about where we are. For example, at least Mark, I'm not as addicted to Netflix as my brother-in-law is, or I'm certainly working out more physically than my neighbor is. And when we subjectively choose the comparison point, we can make ourselves look pretty good. The reason I bring up comparison in this case is because when we think about comfort, we think about this idea of comfort as an idol. We can be tempted to convince ourselves that we're okay when we compare to somebody else that makes us look okay or feel okay. You know, a few episodes back, we talked about this idea of setting the bar higher. And I know in that episode, it was an encouragement to you, not something that was intended to be negative, but intended to be positive. Like, there is more, keep going, don't settle, set the bar higher. In that vein, I wonder if you're tempted to compare yourself to somebody when it comes to comfort, whatever that is for you. I wonder what a comparison to John the Baptist would look like. You know, sometimes I think it's hard to compare ourselves to Jesus because, like, he was the man, he was the dude, he was perfect. That example seems unreachable and unattainable for us. But what about John the Baptist? John the Baptizer, or as Simon in the recent Chosen series calls him, Crazy John. When was the last time you heard a message about following his example? Yeah, probably not recently, because it's not a popular topic. John the Baptist today is not going to get likes and shares. They will be hard to come by using him as an example. Now, I'm not saying that we need to be just like John. He had his own mission. He lived in a completely different period of time and life. You have your own mission too. Yours isn't his. Mine isn't his. But when we're tempted to compare ourselves on this scale of comfort, maybe we would do well to remember his example. In fact, perhaps any of the examples of the early disciples of Jesus would do for good comparisons. Let me say this as part of some closing thoughts. I am not disparaging comfort, and I'm not suggesting camel skins and wild insects should be our clothing and our diet. I enjoy the things that I have. I've already mentioned I don't want to go without wicking underwear and wicking socks. I enjoy the things that I have, and I'm sure you do too. The challenge is to realize these are things that we have been given to steward, and to remember that comfort in itself is not the end. There is no growth in comfort, and seldom is there any comfort in growth. We are called and we are created to grow, and we must not let comfort reign and become an idol in our lives. Okay, guys, all of that from this one thought a few months back from a conversation around comfort being an idol. Maybe this resonated with you. Maybe it didn't. Maybe you're in a good place when it comes to comfort. Or maybe, like me, not too long ago, discomfort was to be avoided and comfort was the preferred posture and position. I don't know where this content finds you or if this is even resonating with you, but if it is, let me invite you and challenge you to not just let it go, but to be willing to take the courageous and the bold move to examine where comfort has taken a place in your life and in your heart that is too elevated, that is keeping you from becoming the person that God wants you to be and becoming the blessing to others that you were created and gifted to be. There is no growth in the comfort zone, and there is no comfort in the growth zone. As much as I wish at times that wasn't true, the reality is it is. We're setting the bar higher. We are challenging you as a man and as a father, for those of you that are husbands, to step up here and do better, because there's more. Yes, it's harder. Yes, there will be some difficulty, some discomfort. We all will face adversity, even with the circumstances that are around us. But we're inviting you into a bigger and better space of what it means to be a man and how to pass on this healthy and godly manhood to the generation coming behind us. And part of that is acknowledging where we have allowed comfort to become an idol. Okay, guys, that's it for this week. Thanks once again for journeying with us, for being a part of this community, for listening to these thoughts, whether it's Mark's musings or the guest conversations that we're having. We really appreciate you being a part of this community. A reminder that we'd love to get feedback from you and just encourage you and challenge you to keep going in becoming the man God created you to be and raising up that healthy and godly man that you call your son. All right, guys, that's it. Thanks for being with us once again. Same bat time, same bat channel next week. Until then, adios. Hey, listeners, thanks for journeying with us on this Next Man Up podcast. We would love to hear from you. Maybe you have a question or an idea, perhaps a topic for us to consider. If that's you and you want to reach out to us, you can get us at feedback@thenextmanup.com. That's feedback@thenextmanup.com. Again, we'd love to hear from you. Until next time, we'll see you later.